Good morning, another weekend, another day of working on the 19. Not quite as good weather as last week. Kind of threatening to rain, but you know, we move. We got stuff to do. So what we've got to do today is I want to get the engine running. To get the engine running, I've got to have gearbox oil in it, and for gearbox oil in it, I got to make sure that the drive shafts are going to stay in. But before I take the drive shafts out to make sure that they stay in, I've got to take them out to put new CV boots on some of them, not all of them, and make sure that they're all sealed up. So today is drive shaft removal. I've got some universal CV boots to put on them, which will hopefully fit, and I can give you a bit of a tutorial on how to do that with a special, very suspect looking tool that I've adapted to make a funnel out of. So drive shafts off, and then I thought I'd give you a bit of an idea of what the plans are for it, because you know, I'm not just doing this for the shits and giggles, but I've got plans for it and we've got places to take it. So let's get the drive shafts done, and then we'll go through a little bit about what the plans are and why I want to get it running on the road, apart from just keeping an old Renault car on the road and running. There's specific activities I want to do with it, so stay tuned. Let's get these drive shafts off, and as I'm doing the boots, we'll go through what the plans are with it. Let's go. So this is going to be easy because this is all flop because I've got a strut out. The gearbox is already out the drive shaft is already out the gearbox, and how do I know that? Because all the gearbox oil is on the floor. So I just need to pop this nut out here, probably maneuver this about, and then squeeze it out. So I'm going to try and get it off with my trusty but a bit battered Ryobi. It's not the gun it once was. So let's see if this does the trick. Otherwise we might have to get the big old bar out, which might make it interesting given how floppy this is. Come on, come on. Mwah. There's a 30mm nut on it. I don't think that's a goer. So let's get the rusty ratchet and a big old bar on this. Screwdriver in the vents of the discs down there to stop the entire wheel from turning. Worried I'm going to pop the ball joint out of here. So what I might do is just put an axle stand under here just to support that. Be solid. Put a big old bar on. There we go. That's a good sign. Yeah, let's get it nice and loose. It's like that, all my ratchet is breaking. Wouldn't surprise me. I've got a breaker bar, but it's in my van, and I'm just being lazy. There she goes. Gotcha. Winner. So now, I should just be able to drive shaft out of there, pull it, okay, so what's happened now is the CV joint is split, so I'm just going to get underneath it and see if I can pry it out. There is a little plate with 3 10mm going over the top of it, so I've undone those. Just need to get underneath it and pry the shaft out, so let's get that in. Here we have it. One drive shaft. Lovely drop. The CV boot actually looks alright. It's just, you can see, so this is the little clasp that holds it all, holds the CV boot onto the gearbox and seals it there. And that's another seal there with a bearing. And all that's happened is that has come off the end of that. Don't know if that's actually the right CV boot. That's the drive shaft seal. Yeah, so that looks alright. It's just been held on with a zip tie, so maybe I need something a little bit better. But there's one done. Let's go and get the driver's side out. Luckily, this shaft does not need a new CV boot. They're both fine, they just need resealing. Let's get to it. So we're going to do the same approach to this one, except it's going to be turning this way. So it's going to be difficult for me to really need something underneath there, underneath the bottom of the track rod end to act as a fulcrum. So let's see what I can do there. That should work. Just have to get the big bar on him. This might be a little bit more tricky.
This is not going to go the way you think.
Old-fashioned impact wrench. Finally, there he goes. Blunt force and ignorance. So now we can take that out. I'll go underneath, I'll get the plate off the gearbox and get the drive shaft out. There you go. That's that one out. That looks a bit worse for weird, doesn't it? And this actually looks like a drive shaft specific boot. Seems to like hug the rollers there, like. But that's both drive shafts out. At least. I'm pretty sure the other half of this should have come out of the gearbox, but yeah, we deal with the cards we dealt, right? Right, so I thought I'd bring you underneath to have a look at where we are on this. As you can see, this is the drive shaft cap that the drive shaft fits into. Those little rollers on the CV joint fit in there. And it's a very specific shape. And I think I'm not going to be able, well, I know I'm not going to be able to use a universal CV boot on this because someone's tried to have a slightly, because if I do, it's not going to fill these gaps. I think someone's tried to seal it already, look, to stop all the grease coming out. I mean, it's not gearbox oil that's going to come out of it, it's just grease. I think someone's tried to have a go at putting some seal, which is just rock hard now, so I'm going to have to... So yeah, I'm going to have to try and find the specific CV boot part to fit this gearbox. What do you know? Another episode of working on the Renault 19 and the parts that I bought for it don't fit. Ah, this car. But, again, we play the cards we're dealt. So I'll do some research and find out what I can buy, if anything. Fingers crossed, eh? And because I've bought a universal CV boot, and this is the only one that needs it, it's not going to fit. So I'm not going to be able to get it filled with oil today. Boo. I mean, I could technically, because this side is still sealed, but I mean, I'd rather just do it properly, if I'm honest. Yeah. Also, having getting those drive shaft nuts out, I think I'm going to order some bottom ball joints for this, because they feel a wee bit floppy. Let's inspect. This looks alright, to be fair. I think I just need to reseal that drive shaft there. So this is the passenger side. Just need to reseal that boot there, because that is where, when that popped out, that's where all the gearbox fluid comes out of there, like. So this is lubricated with gearbox oil. That's sealed up against the gearbox using this, and then that seals the rest of the gearbox oil in with that, and somebody thought a zip tie would have been suitable, and it's not. So I just need to seal that back on there, which I will. I'm going to clean these drive shafts up as well, give them a little paint perhaps. This one though, that one is in a much worse, is in a bit of a 2 and 8 if we're honest, isn't it? What do we think? I don't know how I'm going to find this part. And also, even if I do find it, I think I'm going to have to dismantle all this, pull this off the end, which I don't know how easy it is to do, to get it on. This side's fine. This has still got some original fittings to it. It's not cracked, it's not split. Actually feels no play in that whatsoever. Same with this side. It's just that one there. Someone's tried to tape that. Don't know what I was trying to do. Oh, some more tape. This split, is it? It's just split at this end. Properly split as well. You can see how those bits there fit into that cup that we just looked at. Other than that, it seems in good nick. It's just a shame. I don't know. I'll have to look on the parts diagram and see if I can still buy that part, and more importantly, how the bloody hell do I fit it? Yeah, it's just full of sealant. Someone's just tried to just bang a load of sealant in there. Which, you know, fair enough. You know, needs must. It's an old car. You don't want to spend too much money on it. Keep it going, do you? So, yeah. Right, so we said we were going to talk through what the plans were with this thing, and I want to get it back on the road because, as you might have seen from the channel, every year we try, apart from COVID, every year we try and do a Rockbox rally. So we did Lands End John Groats, we've done a trip to Amsterdam and the Nürburgring, we did Swiss Alps in Italy back in 2019, we did NC 500 back in 2020, nothing in 2021, we did the NC 500 again January 2022, and we did the Nürburgring in September just gone. So every year we try and do a Rockbox rally because that's what we love doing, and we like taking shitty cars or good cars as far as we can take them, really. And that's what I want to do with this. Rockbox Rally 2023, we are going to the French Riviera. So what better car to take to the French Riviera than a French car? A proper, typical French car. And that's not none of this modern stuff because it's all platform shade and everything now, isn't it? So, but this, proper French car. So, we're going to call it the Chateauneuf du Crap. That's what I want to do. I want to get this on the road and I want to take it back to France. Take it down to the south of France, down to the French Riviera. We're going to go to Monaco. We're going to go to Nice, Cannes, Antibes, Saint-Tropez, Marseille, up to Lyon, which we're hoping to catch the Wales v Australia rugby match in the Rugby World Cup. So I want to get it running for that because I just want to keep putting more miles on it, keep putting more distance on the clock because I think it just really deserves it. The other thing that I really, really want to do, there's a really, really good story behind this car. It's actually only got one owner from new. 1993 car, registered in Barnsley, and it's only had one owner from new. And when I bought the car off eBay, the trader, who wasn't a trader apparently, but was definitely a trader, didn't register the car in his name, so I'm still only the second owner on the logbook. When I bought the car off eBay and had it delivered, it came with no service history, which was disappointing, but it came with a folder of every single MOT that it's ever had, and they were all done at the same garage, a garage called Snape Hill Garage in Barnsley. So I thought, well, I'm going to give these guys a call because they're bound to remember working on this car for the last 30 years. So that's what I did. I gave him a call. I spoke to a lovely chap who not only did he email me all the service history that they had on electronic record, they're not going to go digging through their files, are they? But they emailed me a list of all the services that it's done since, I think, 2012. And it's had, head gasket, headset, it's had timing belt, water pumps. It's been so looked after, this car. And what they told me was that they know the guy that owned it, an old chap, and he's had it since new, and he worked away. And the work that this car has had done on it, it was really well maintained. So I said, look, I'd like to hear from this guy. Can you pass on my details? And they said, yeah, we can pass it on. And about an hour later, I had a call from a lovely chap who I'm ashamed to say name evades me at the moment because I didn't take any notes when he phoned me. But I had a call from this lovely chap from Barnsley, and you could tell by the way that he was speaking about the car how much he actually loved it. He bought the car from new. He worked, I think, for some sort of engineering firm which required him to travel all over Europe. And instead of flying, he just drove this. Just jumped in it from Barnsley, drove down, either across from Hull into the Netherlands and down, or down to Calais, and he just took this and he drove it all over Europe, France, Spain, Germany, Italy. And you could tell by the way that he was speaking, he had super fond memories of it. And one of my favourite memories that he spoke of, and you think you could tell that he spoke of, was that he had two young girls, and if he had to travel for a while for work, he used to just chuck them in, and they used to go on like a little bit of a working holiday, and the girls would go with him. And one of his girls, there was a French sweet shop that was their favourite shop that apparently they had to visit every time they went. And the name of the sweet shop was called Gabrielle. So one of his little girls affectionately adorned the name Gabrielle to the car. So Gabrielle will live on as long as I own it, as long as I can keep it roadworthy. Gabrielle will, she'll live to fight some more miles, definitely. So one of the things that I really, really love to do is get this up and running and take it back up to Barnsley, take it back to Snape Hill, show them, and take it back to the previous owner and show him that it's still going, it's still fighting, it still wants to live. The remarkable thing about this is that when I was chatting to the previous owner, it's on its original engine and its original gearbox. The garage who serviced it told me a funny story where he bought it, and after a few years, I think Renault recalled it for some turbo work. So he went back into Renault for a new turbo, and maybe about 5 or 6 years later, he went back in for some work. I think it might have been when they did the head gasket, perhaps. And they realised that when Renault had done the turbo, they hadn't actually sort of connected or taken like a transport plug out of the actuator. So for the 5 or 6 years that he was driving it with a brand new turbo from Renault, it was producing no boost. It wasn't producing any boost whatsoever. So there was no stress or strain on it. So they fixed that, And they laughed as they told me you go back in it, and took it down the road, took it home, phoned them after and went, bloody hell, what have you done to this? It goes like shit off a shovel now. Which I thought was just brilliant, because imagine driving this with no bloody turbo on it. Some of the other work that I know it had done, I think the axle failed whilst he was out in Europe, so he took it to a Renault garage, a Renault dealer out in France, and I had a brand new rear axle fitted. I think he was still under warranty at the time, so he might have had it done, or I'm not sure to be honest, but at some point it's had a brand new axle fitted from Renault, which I think is brilliant, and look new now, because that was still probably 20 years ago, you know. So the work that's gone into it has been funny. Working on a car, I think throughout the period that this garage might have had to work on the car, they probably didn't have the access to the online world that we might have now. So sourcing original parts or even aftermarket replacement parts might have been more difficult than going onto eBay, typing in RAL 19 star motor and being given a myriad of results. And one of the things that failed on it was the glow plug relay. And apparently they said they couldn't find a glow plug relay, so they had to fit a bit of a bodge solution, which was just a generic glow plug relay to replace the original one, fitted to a manual momentary toggle switch, which is under the ignition. You can go back and look at the other videos and see I've done a bit more detail on it, but you have to manually set the glow plugs, heat the glow plugs with this little toggle switch before starting the car, which I thought was funny. The other interesting thing as well was the 90s immobiliser that they fitted to it, because obviously there's no ECU or electronics or anything like that really to speak of on this. So there's a key switch in the glove box that when you switch on basically activates the fuel cut-off solenoid. So as long as that switch is on, it'll only drive for whatever fuel is between the cut-off solenoid and the injectors, and then it'll cut out, which is proper 90s immobiliser. So yeah, those are my plans. Get it running, get it MOT'd, get it on the road, take it to France, and take it back to see my old mate in Barnsley. So fingers crossed I can get that done. I think I'm going to wrap this video up there, guys. I really wanted to be able to do some more mechanicals on this. I've got the drive shafts out. I've got a bit of research to do on that. We want to keep bringing content to you. I thought that the story that I could tell you about the car you might be interested in. You know, I've already had a comment, I think, on the last video of a gent who used to valet this car back in the 90s, apparently. So thank you very much for the comment. I'll put it up here. There it is. Here's your comment. Thank you very much for that comment. I really, really love seeing comments on the video. And if you know this car, if you know somebody who knew this car, share it. You know, send it if you're from Barnsley or from up that way, or you know, you knew this car, because it was obviously owned and cherished by somebody at some point for such a long time, to keep it on the road and put all those miles on it. So feel free to share it and tell me stories about it. If you know stories about it, please tell me, because it's fascinating for me. I'll wrap it up there. Thanks very much for watching. The subscribes and the likes really do help us, and the comments really do help us. We are trying to grow the channel. And we do want to be producing more and more videos. We both work full-time, Craig and I. We do want to do a lot more collaborative stuff, but we kind of, although we don't live far away, we only get, the odd spare hour or two to come out and work on cars. So coordinating collaborative videos is a little bit tricky for us sometimes. So I'll come out and work on this. Craig will go out and work on this stuff, and where we can, we'll do some stuff together. Coming up on the channel, we have got a pretty decent fleet of cars. So between us, we've got 15 cars. So coming up on the channel, we are going to do a bit of a fleet walkthrough. Some of the cars have been sat and stored for quite a while, so we're going to do some will they start type videos. So if you're interested in that, subscribe, keep ping your notifications on, because we do want to get some of those videos out pretty soon for you guys to watch. If there's anything else you want to see from us, comment, let us know, message us, comment, follow us on the Instas. It's at Rockbox Industries. I'll put them up here and whatever they need to be, and follow us, and we will try and get some content that you want to see up. But yeah, stay tuned. Thanks very much for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, ding the bell, notifications, all the good stuff that you're told by all the other 54,000 YouTubers that you watch. Probably not that I'm a YouTuber by any stretch of the imagination, but thanks very much, guys.